From The Simpsons to Werner Herzog, the coolest, craziest, scariest Nessies ever. Loch Ness Monster hunters have included the Chuckle Brothers and even David Lean. As the Scottish icon is honored in a new stamp and a stirring musical, we separate the classy from the crockpot. It is the UK's largest body of fresh water, its volume totaling more than all the lakes of England and Wales combined. It is also the UK's greatest source of daft stories. For the best part of a century, Loch Ness has used its monster-adjacent status not only to finance a healthy tourist economy, but also to generate a small industry in Nessie-related fiction, from the inspired to the crackpot. The Simpsons sent Mr. Burns to do battle with the creature in an episode called Monty Can't Buy Me Love. From the pen of poet Ted Hughes came Nessie the mannerless monster, who was tired of being told she does not exist. An indie folkster Matilda Mann has a song called The Loch Ness Monster containing this advice: stay right down there. Not wanting to be left out, the Royal Mail has just honored Nessie with a fine, if rather unscary, stamp. To these slithery ranks we will shortly be able to add Nessie, a family musical written and composed by Glasgow's Shona Murray and about to premiere in Edinburgh and Pitlochry. Murray was reluctant to tackle such a familiar Scottish icon until a challenge from her father drew her in. I had just finished doing a couple of shows about the women behind Robert Burns, she says. I was joking with my dad that I needed to find something wee bit less Scottish. He was like, oh, there's loads of Scottish stories that have been told, but not to their full potential. You should do a Nessie musical. On a dare, I wrote an opening number, and the more I was writing, the more I liked it. There was something charming and special about it. And here's Nessie on The Simpsons. An iguana as Nessie in a movie called The Secret of the Loch. There's the stamp. And this is for the new musical Nessie. Werner Herzog, An Incident at Loch Ness. Very interesting. Kind of a pop culture look at the Loch Ness Monster. Interesting article, that's for sure. I just recently finished reading a book called The Search for Morag by Elizabeth Montgomery Campbell and David Solomon. And this is an article about Loch Morar monster Morag sightings uncovered. This is from 12 years ago. Early accounts for the Loch Ness Monster's lesser-known cousin have been uncovered by researchers. Morag is a mysterious creature said to inhabit the depths of Loch Morar in the Lochaber area of the Highlands. Alexander Carmichael, a prolific gatherer of folklore at the turn of the last century, gathered stories about her from people living near the loch. His scripts have been uncovered by the Carmichael Watson Project at the University of Edinburgh Library. The writings, thought to date from 1902, paint a conflicting view of Morag. On the one hand, she is presented as a mermaid-like character with flowing hair, while another description paints her as a grim reaper whose sighting was viewed as a death omen. Dr. Donald Stewart, a senior researcher on the project, discovered the text while leafing through a mad mixture of folklore collected by Carmichael over 50 years. We were so pleased when we found them, it was just totally unexpected, he said. In the first text, Carmichael states Morag is always seen before a death and before a drowning. A second text reads, there is a creature in Loch Morar and she is called Morag. She is never seen save when one of the hereditary people of the place dies. The last time she was seen was when Anus MacDonald died in 1898. But there were sightings in the 60s going into the early 70s. The Morag is peculiar to Loch Morar. She is seen in broad daylight and by many persons, including church persons. She appears a black heap or ball, slowing and deliberately rising into the water and moving along like a boat waterlogged. The morag is much disliked and is called by many uncomplimentary terms. A final description, penned by Carmichael at a later date, retains morag's association with death, but sees her take on more human characteristics. So this is an article about the lesser known creature of Loch Morar. Is there a morag? These people seem to think so. And there's even been a few reports of it on land, much like Nessie. Could this be copycat stories? I really don't think so. I don't think it's copycat stories. I think there's something there. Don't know what it is, but there's got to be something there. Very fascinating. And the book is really excellent as well. Eerie photos found after submarine scouring Loch Ness spots decades-old camera trap. A camera thought to be placed in Loch Ness in 1970 was discovered during an underwater robot test. And we can listen to the article.
Eerie photos found after submarine scouring Loch Ness spots decades-old camera trap. Loch Ness, the infamous freshwater lake in the Scottish Highlands, has long been thought to be the home of an indescribable creature. Though whether Nessie is a friend or foe is yet to be discovered, Scottish researchers have turned to Loch Ness not for monster hunting in recent years, but for testing underwater robots. Now, the two worlds, supernatural and scientific, have collided. An ocean robot developed and operated by the UK's National Oceanography Centre, NOC, has made a chance encounter of the Nessie kind during engineering trials in Scotland's famous Loch Ness, the NOC announced in an April 1 news release. The mission test was for the Autosub long-range autonomous vehicle called Boaty McBoatface, a name chosen by the British public during an online naming campaign. When the submarine was about 600 feet deep in the loch, it accidentally came across a small camera trap, the NOC said. Boaty McBoatface noticed the camera when part of the mooring that held the camera system in place got caught in the vehicle's propeller, and it was brought to the surface, according to the NOC. The camera belonged to Roy Mackall, a professor at the University of Chicago and part of the Loch Ness Investigation Bureau, officials said. It was placed in the loch in 1970 in hopes of snapping a photo of its rumored resident.
Sponsor message, then we're back.
The camera was identified by Adrian Shine, who established the Loch Ness project in the mid-1970s. He said it was one of 6 that were deployed in 1970, according to the release. If accurate, the camera is thought to be one of the first attempts to catch the Loch Ness monster on film, the NOC said. It was an ingenious camera trap consisting of a clockwork Instamatic camera with an inbuilt flash cube, enabling 4 pictures to be taken when a bait line was taken, Shine said in the release. It is remarkable that the housing has kept the camera dry for the past 55 years, lying around 600 feet deep in Loch Ness. Not only was the camera intact and dry, but the film inside was also in good condition, allowing a NOC engineer to have it developed, the organization said. The eerie images, taken deep below the surface with barely any light, failed in their mission to capture Nessie. The unexpected find was handed over to the Loch Ness Centre in Drumnadrochit, where it will be put on display as part of the history of Nessie hunting, the NOC said. It's been over 90 years since the first sighting of Nessie. Since then there have been many expeditions to find the elusive beast. We are guardians of this unique story and, as well as investing in creating an unforgettable experience for visitors, we are committed to helping continue the search and unveil the mysterious that lie underneath the waters of the famous loch, Nagina Ishak, general manager of the Loch Ness project, said in the release. Boaty McBoatface is one of 3 Autosub long-range vehicles being developed and tested to travel under ice to study the world's polar regions, according to the NOC. The vehicles are able to return to the surface and transmit data as it's collected, the organization said, allowing researchers to get data in real time. Loch Ness is in northern Scotland, about a 180-mile drive north from Glasgow.
Thanks.
So there you go. Very interesting. A camera that was underwater for 55 years was found. And while it didn't get any images of Nessie, still Very interesting indeed. It's just too bad it didn't get any images of Nessie. Oh well, maybe next time. Maybe somebody will get something. Although we have had images of flippers. Some very intriguing images of flippers, which were taken back in the 70s. Not to mention radar bumps. So what is in Loch Ness? Only time and a well-dedicated team will tell. Finally, an announcement from Daniel Perez. Cliff Barrickman, North American Bigfoot Center, will be the exclusive seller of Bigfoot at Bluff Creek, a pictorial discussion at the upcoming Ohio Bigfoot Conference. Only 10 copies will be made available. Furthermore, because sales of this work have been tremendous, a limited print run of the hardcovers will be issued, but the printer from the USA has not quoted me a price yet. Not going to be cheap. Interesting. So, those of you who are attending the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, and let's say you haven't gotten your copy of Daniel's book yet, this is your opportunity, but you better act fast because there's only 10 of them available. So if I were you, I would act pretty fast and beat the rush. Or you could just order it from his website, bigfoottimes.net. Either way you go, you can't go wrong. And that's good there for this week. We want to thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are the heart of the show. I always say that, but I always mean it, and I will continue to do this as long as you guys want me to. And for 10 years, a whole decade now, I've been doing this little video podcast. And I've enjoyed every second of it. And I will continue to do it. And as of this week, we are 3 weeks away from the Ohio Bigfoot Conference 2025. I'm looking forward to it. This announcement I just made is from the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, or for it actually. The announcement that Cliff Barrickman will be selling 10 copies of Bigfoot at Bluff Creek by Daniel Perez. That's going to be in 3 weeks. But until next week, y'all be good or be good at. This is May-HBM's Cryptid-Corner.